What's going on, family? Like I almost said Niner Fanatic family, but hey, you got me and you got Nate. This is the Odd Couple podcast. Hey, what's going on, folks? Like, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is the Odd Couple podcast. I got my boy Nate with me today, and of course, I'm Peter Lucas. Hey, Nate. So I mean, that was a rough one for you, brother. like, but we're here to talk
Yeah.
NFC West. I don't know if why don't we start off? We'll let you marinate a little bit. But why don't we start off with the Arizona game? Because I'll let you stew a little bit on the other game, but the Arizona game
Wow.
they beat who did they beat?
Carolina.
Yeah, they beat Carolina, and so the Carolina game that was a really kind of interesting game because Arizona actually looked capable, and Carolina looked absolutely incapable. I think that we didn't understand how bad Carolina actually was. But yeah, what did you think about that game?
First of all, everybody, my apologies for the sunlight here. I'm driving home from work. This is we're me and Peter squeezing this in. We're two very busy men with families, so we got to do what we got to do here. So I apologize for the glare. I mean, they beat a really bad football team. I mean, we talk about teams with no identity. Baker Mayfield has taken about 5 steps back. I actually heard Stephen A. personally call him out this morning on ESPN. I was cracking up laughing, dude. Of course, Stephen A is kind of famous for that kind of noise. But yeah, I mean, it's just a bad football team. I mean, I wouldn't take anything more from beating them as us beating Atlanta. You know, I mean, I didn't see the game, I'm going to be honest, but I watched the highlights and I saw a Cardinals team that was functional against a really bad football team. I mean, Carolina's got a little bit of talent, but
that's why it's so weird. That's why it's so weird is they have talent.
Well, McCaffrey's never gotten back. He's just not the same cat, and they aren't using him the same way. What do you got? You got DJ Moore. You got Robbie Anderson still over there, right? So I mean, you got some speed at wideout. They have a few pieces, but defensively, Reddick bounced. They're down to just kind of Burns, I think, right? I mean, there's not a ton on the table there defensively. So, pass rush wise, and I mean, my God, who's even in their secondary?
Well, no, actually,
they got Jeremy Chin, right?
Yeah, they got Jeremy Chin. They've
Jeremy
got
Chin,
Henderson, the young guy. I think he's a third. I think this is his third season. He's really good. They've got what's that kid's name? He played in Washington. And I wanted him for the Niners, and I can't think of his name right now. It's really going to make me mad. But but they actually have corners. They just, I mean, they're not really getting blown out per se. They're just their offense just is pathetic, and the defense is on the field the whole game. And anytime in this era of football that your defense is out there the whole game, and you're not doing something with time of possession, it's going to be a bad look for your defense. Your defense is eventually going to go down. So
you don't say. That sounds familiar. Yeah. Hey, so
yeah, it was.
But yeah, dude. Again, I don't take that anything really from that win. I mean, they got a dub. We're all tied at 2-2, which will be part of my "the sky is not totally falling" speech I'll give you in a few minutes when we get to our game. Yeah. But it's kind of falling for us. But anyways, yeah, I mean, again, I don't take much any more from that than I do from Seattle. Seattle played the Lions and had the Lions' latest Madden no defense game, where they had 500 yards of offense and still lost.
Fun fact about that game. It was one of 1,032 most unique scores. It's the first time that score has ever been It was like 48-43 or something like that.
Huh.
It's a weird.
It's wild, dude. Yeah.
Somebody posted on
I mean,
Twitter. I had to share it.
I watched the highlights, and I saw the stat line on it, and it looked like a bunch of, Gino looked like he was very efficient. Rashad Penny made his yearly appointment,
Yeah.
To prove that he belongs on a roster somewhere. And, and the Lions were the Lions. They're a team that, has my old guy throwing for 350 yards a game and still not winning. Sounds familiar. So, I neither one of those wins makes me think that they're any threat to either one of us.
No.
I mean, and I don't think that your win last night wraps up the NFC West for you either. I mean, you whipped the piss out of us last year in San Francisco. So it was actually, that game with last year was worse than this one. I mean, if you go by overall score and kind of like the overall look of the game, in certain aspects, but I mean, I don't think we saw anything in the NFC West outside of our game that really was anything landmark. We had two teams that aren't throwing in the towel that beat bad teams or teams that are, middling or trying to find their identity.
For sure.
I do like what Campbell's doing in Detroit. The team's got a pulse, and that's a start in Detroit. I mean, they're scoring points. They can't stop anybody.
Yeah,
but
I love your boy Goff is going off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a fantasy fun, but he's still 1-3. So I know.
Well, he's doing his part. He's doing his part. They just can't stop anybody. But it was an interesting game. I mean, it's fun to watch. It was just, I mean, who would have thought Geno Smith was? I mean, that's how bad to me. That's really the telltale sign that your defense is not up to par. Is when you allow Geno Smith to drop a 40 piece.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
you've got issues.
Right. And there's no question about it.
Yeah, for Campbell to be such a rah-rah, tough guy type. I mean, that defense is as soft as tissue paper, and I just don't understand how they're not really. I mean, I feel like if you just tried, you could be better than they are. I feel like there's a lot of teams out there with less talent than they have they just can't get it together on defense. It's just weird.
Right.
But those two games aside, let's get to the meat and potatoes.
Here we go.
So I would say I disagree as to what we said about we can't really grasp anything get anything from this game between the Rams and the 49ers. What I saw was that it's the 49ers, even though they have a lot of similar pieces as they had last year, it was a different look. It was a different look. I think is Shanahan learned finally that he cannot treat Jimmy like a starting quarterback. He's treating him like a backup, and making him just manage the game. Just manage the game. I'm not expecting any special throws from you. They didn't even really run the ball as much. But they used a lot of screen passes, a lot of stuff that we don't normally do. Juice got the ball 2 carries for God's sake. And but the one thing that I thought was really stood out to me was the defense. And I get it that your offensive line was hampered and and all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't so much the defensive line and the 7 sacks. I'm going to mention that again, 7 sacks, that really stood out to me. It was the secondary. And I know that Cooper Kupp is really, and Higbee are really the only weapons that he had. But I mean, it wasn't like you guys had a ton of weapons last year, and you still found a way to move down the field. And I felt like this game was just a different feel. Kupp wasn't able to get. He didn't have time, first of all, to get to really get open. Like, and those slot fades we didn't see any of that stuff. Like, and
Sure.
it could have been just that they didn't have time, but I just felt it was a different kind of vibe. The defense was really the overall theme of that game for the 49ers. And Hufanga is not Jaquiski Tart. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. You guys got one. You guys definitely got one. You might have had, you got little baby Polamalu back there, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. Kid plays with the force, bro. I promise you.
No, he does, dude. He does. Hey, SC can pump out some safeties, bro. It is what it is on that. But
I tell you.
So look, Pete. All right, because we are pretty short on time here. So let me get to. I've been building this up at work all day. All right.
Yeah, I know you have.
So again, I called this on our podcast. I said there was a very good chance this would happen. Nothing last night shocked me at all. D'Amico Ryans, hats off to him. The guy's going to become a head coach sooner than later. You guys can almost kiss that guy goodbye at this point.
Yes,
this is the last year he will be wearing a red jacket on the sideline because he's going to be a head coach somewhere. And he's earned it. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. And if he gets a good offensive mind with him, he will be successful wherever he goes. I like him a lot. You guys took a beat down offensive line and just blitzed the ever-loving piss out of it. You guys are not a team that even blitzes. You don't really need to. You have so much talent on your front four that you don't even need to blitz. But, dude, D'Amico Ryans saw it. He saw Allen Robinson's lack of involvement in the offense. The loss of Van Jefferson, that was 50 balls for 800 yards last year, dude. Like, Van Jefferson made plays. I understand he's not a WR1 or a fantasy, love bug, but the kid can play, and he's a great third wide receiver. And this, I'm telling you, dude, we are feeling it in every capacity. And really the Niners, there was nothing fancy there. You guys just swarmed and blitzed and took advantage of a third string center, a second string guard, no Andrew Whitworth, which we are now seeing is a catastrophic loss for this team. Not just a rebuilding block like, hey, it's going to take a minute kind of thing. Like, that dude, the loss, just the leadership and the qualities he brings are clearly so desperately missed along that line that, like, I mean, really that's the story of the game. So look, man, it's really, really hard to move the ball downfield when you're throwing off your back foot.
Yeah.
Stafford got sacked 7 times, got hit multiple more. We had no running game at all. There was literally, I think, 1 run over 5 yards. It was just a done deal. And from the jump. And somehow we actually still managed to drive the field 3 times. But as soon as that field shrunk up and the dink and dunk was gone, oh my God. It was just boom, 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 field goal, boom, 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 field goal. Like, It was ridiculous. So, I mean, again, nothing about this shocks me. Offensively, Debo made us look like assholes again. That pass was 3 inches from being picked off, by the way, for a pick 6. I mean, it was so close. But then, he made, Rapp didn't have a great look at him, but he missed the tackle, and then he just posterized Jalen Ramsey. I mean, he should blow that up and put it on his wall. For all the shit that Ramsey talks and all the mouth running that guy does, he got embarrassed in the open field, like flat embarrassed.
Yeah. They did on Twitter. They did on Twitter today. They embarrassed him pretty bad.
He could have at least gotten, I mean, if he makes that tackle, maybe we hold you to 3. Maybe we don't, but at least you give the defense a shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was some straight up just, necessary roughness stuff out there for us on that play. And once again, no sacks. Like you said, quick drops, quick release. Jimmy got the ball out. Everything was short. He let his receivers make plays. Nothing really down the field because he didn't have to. Yeah. And I think that's why Shanahan didn't push it either. He didn't have to. All it took was about 2 or 3 series against us for Shanahan to know the Rams can't move the ball. And even if they do get down here, we're going to hold them to 3. The confidence had to be through the roof.
But that's so the problem.
Why push the ball?
With Shanny. That's the problem. That's what the frustration that me and that 49er fans get with Shanny is that he doesn't push the issue. Like,
but he didn't need you this time, and I think that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like he knew the game. Man, and really like moving forward, we know who you are, Pete. We know who the Niners are. We
Oh
know
yeah, for
exactly
sure.
who you are. There's no identity crisis there of any kind.
Yeah.
You can win 12 games, you could win 9 games. It's really hard to say how consistent you'll stay throughout the year, but we know your defense, if they stay healthy, this is going to be, a top 3 defense for sure. We have a lot of questions. We got the Cowboys coming to town. The schedule only gets harder from here. We got games at Tampa, at Green Bay, at Kansas City. I mean, you look down our schedule and you look at how the Rams are playing right now, and you think, is this a 500 team? Maybe. It's a 7-win team? Maybe. I mean, I don't see anything from the Rams right now that makes me think they will threaten anybody in the top tier of the NFC or AFC at all. Now, again, the sky's not totally fallen. We're all 2-2. There's still more ball to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of ball.
Our division's going to beat itself up a little bit. There's always that shocker game where somebody pisses somebody off. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you guys had the right game plan, dude. I mean, Ryan saw it. He knew it. He exploited it. It worked right away, and it never stopped working. And it was a standing miracle that was a 1-score game with that much time to go. That late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit of hats off to our defense for at least making enough plays to keep us semi-relevant in it. It never felt close, but it somehow stayed close.
Yeah, which is what made us nervous throughout the whole game.
Right.
Like I was like, oh my God, like because Stafford, we're still waiting for the Stafford throw to Cup, to get a touchdown out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden we're right there, we're tied, we're in overtime, and only bad things happen to the 49ers in overtime. So it's but
yeah,
so you guys got Dallas. There. You guys got Dallas this week. What do you think is the score on that one?
Oh God. They don't have your defense, but they have a talented defense.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, dude, I think we come out of that 2-3. I mean, unless we can get a pass rush, and again, solid offensive line in Dallas. So unless we can find a pass rush and force rush, Dak's on the fence, I guess. He's eyeballing our game, but it's kind of a 50-50 on that. And I'm sure it's going to stay real quiet till Saturday. But if we face Dak, I kind of like our chances better. This Rush kid's kind of playing some good football right now. They're kind of rallying around him. Yeah.
But the reason why he's playing good football is because they're not treating him like Dak. They're running the ball. They're running the ball. They're playing good defense, and they're letting him hit open receivers because of the run game. But I think because your run defense wasn't bad. You held. Right. I mean, our guy only had 4.1 a carry, which sounds decent, but I mean, he had a long run. He had one long run for a touchdown. So it really, you guys played a lot better on defense on the run game than really it looked like. And if you guys can hold them in the run, because that's what Bobby Wagner's there for, is to hold against the run. If you guys can hold against the run, I think you might have a pretty good chance against Cooper Rush. So I would hope that Cooper Rush is there for you. Of course, for me personally, I hope they drop a 40 burger on you guys. But but I would say I think that you guys actually have a pretty. I'm calling that game is probably going to be around. I'm going to say 24. I'm going to say it's going to be 24-20.
Yeah. I mean, I would go there. 24. I was going to say something like that, like a 24-17 kind of thing. Something along those lines. I mean, I don't have a pulse on us, dude. I just don't. Nothing makes me feel good about this team. It's hard to say what they're going to do. I mean, if they find a way to get Robinson involved, if they find a way to get confidence in somebody besides Cooper Kupp and a little bit of Tyler Higbee, if they find some semblance of a run game, they got a shot. But if they come out flat like this and you guys blitz the hell out of them, if they blitz the hell out of them like you guys did, mm-hmm. and they don't have your talent again. But I mean, if you're sending 7 guys and nobody can block, it's going to be a rough day, because you ain't got to get there to kill the play.
Yeah, McVay, give him credit. Like, I mean, he's gonna come up with some kind of game plan. Like, I would assume. Like, I don't think it's gonna look as bad as it did on this last one. Like, I think that I mean, he probably knew where they were at, but like, I mean, I would say that the 49ers, that, like you said, they don't have the same front four like the 49ers do. And even though two of our defensive tackles were hurt, like in that game, we didn't. But I mean, our defensive line is really deep. Like, but I just think that that you guys will be in it. I think that you're definitely going to score some points because I don't think that they have cut plays majority in the slot, and I don't think that while they have a decent defense, I don't think they have what it takes to guard him and what he does. So like, we'll see. But so real quick, just quick scores: San Francisco against Carolina. Like,
oh
we
God,
got Carolina this week.
31-10 you.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be another 24-7.
Okay.
Like, because I have no faith in our offense. Like, and then as far as who does Seattle plays New Orleans with, I think Andy Dalton's going to be starting, which they actually scored more points with Andy Dalton than they did with Jameis Winston. So,
and where is it? Is it in New Orleans?
It's in New Orleans.
Based on that, I'll go 23. I'll go 23-13 Saints.
Yeah, like I see it, and like I'm gonna say for the Saints, I'm gonna say 20. I'm gonna go 20 to 14. I'm gonna go 2014. Like, I think Geno gets a couple of touchdowns, but I just think New Orleans defense is going to be good enough to hold them at bay. Like, and they're at home. Like, and then you got Arizona or Philadelphia at Arizona.
Oh, I got Philly all day and twice on Sunday for that one. Barring some sort of a meltdown, I'll go. Man, I think that could get ugly for him.
Yes.
I'll go 34-17 on that one. Philly.
Yeah, like I think that's going to be an ugly game. I think it's going to be one of those 31-10 deals.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Arizona has anything for Philly. Philly is to me the best team in the league right now,
Right.
and just the most consistent at least. So, but hey, bro, I appreciate you coming on. I know you got to get with your kids. Family's most important. Like, but I appreciate you spending some time with me, talking about NFC West. Everybody, appreciate y'all coming on.
Thank you all very, very much.
And we'll see y'all. We'll try and see y'all next week. But yeah, as always, go Niners.
All right, homeboy.
Yeah, later.
Later.